Welcome to the comprehensive guide for hunting economically in Entropia universe. In this guide, we're going to do our very best to explain everything you possibly could want and or need to know to maximize your gains while hunting in Entropia, and specifically Planet Calypso.
And not waste money.
This is what you will learn here is some of the most crucial and important information you can ever learn when it pertains to hunting in Entropia universe.
And the morons, they don't do what we're going to show you, and that's the morons are the ones that waste a bunch of money and then say the game sucks and it's dumb.
Exactly. So this is how not only is this going to maximize your returns, but this is also going to ensure that you have the most enjoyable and pleasant experience.
And non-moronical experience. We're going to teach you how to not be a moron.
Exactly.
Which is, I think everyone would like that.
So the first place you want to start off with, or the first place you should start off with, is your weapon. And it's a really good idea, especially towards the beginning of your adventures in Entropia, is to select the type of weapon that you want to use and stick to it. And the reason is that because it takes so long to level up, it can be frustrating to choose a weapon type, say like laser, and get a decent level in laser and then realize, you know, a few levels down the road, oh, you actually want to use a different weapon. Well, then you got to start all over almost.
Yeah.
And so it's a really good idea to kind of pick out what you want to stick with towards the beginning. And there's laser rifles, there are laser pistols, there are BLP rifles, which are I forget what the BLP stands for, but it's basically just the bullets. It shoots bullets instead of lasers.
It goes boom, 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 instead of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's BLP pistols, and I don't know if I've heard varying opinions on if there's a best weapon type. They all have their pros and cons, but I think they all come out pretty evenly.
Yeah, I mean, like I've heard people say like BLP is better for like damage per second, and laser is better for like damage per peck, so it'd be more economical. But it all depends. There's so many like combinations. A lot of people will use like laser pistol, and they say it's like more economical, but it all depends on what you're doing and what your skills are.
Yes. So for the most part, I think you can just pretty much pick whatever you feel like, and as long as you stick with it and follow these cool tips and tricks that we're about to show you, you'll do pretty good.
Hey, I got a trout.
I did too. I put it in storage.
Check this. This is an excellent eco weapon because it doesn't use any ammunition, and it's also a trout.
Yes.
So you get to do this kind of thing with it.
So probably one of the first things you'll notice is that there are a vast array of weapons in Entropia universe that are available to you. You're gonna want to find some that are matched to your skill level. There are many weapons that are going to be much higher than your skill level, especially if you're first starting out, but you want to get something that's going to be matched to your skill level. So one of the quickest ways just to find out if the weapon is matched to your skill level, or if it's a good fit for your skill level, is to pull up the weapon item info. Just pull up the weapon in your inventory and you can look at it. This weapon here, this is an Apollo that most new people, if you want to start off with a laser rifle, this is the weapon to get.
And that's purchasable from the TT, the trade terminal.
Yes, this is a trade terminal weapon. It's really good. It's really efficient. It's perfect for someone who's first starting out. And as you can see here on all these stats, you can see under damage interval, range, hit ability, critical hit ability. You can see a number with / another number. The second number is the max, and your first number is going to be your ability based on your current level. And you can see on this weapon, I'm pretty much maxed out, or I am maxed out on this weapon.
You better have an Apollo maxed out.
I do have this weapon maxed out.
Okay, good.
When you first start off with, or if you see other weapons that are higher than your skill level, you'll see these first numbers are going to be lower than the second numbers.
Yeah, and you don't want that to be like 2 or 0. A lot of times it'll be 0. Don't shoot that gun if that's the case. That means the gun is like way too powerful for your skill set. You're gonna be wasting a whole lot of money.
Yes.
Because you'll look, the damage interval max, you'll see it's maxed out on his Apollo, but if you don't have the gun maxed out, those you're going to be doing much less damage, and you burn the same amount of ammo no matter what what your skill set is. So
yeah, that's a good point. All these weapons are going to be they're going to be burning different amounts of ammo. You can see here this one burns 200 rounds for each shot. I know it sounds like that's a lot of rounds to shoot in one trigger pull. But that's how they do it.
It's weird.
All right, so here's a weapon that I have that I'm currently not maxed out on. You can see as an example, damage interval is 13.0 to 43.0. That means whenever I pull the trigger, it's going to do some amount of damage between those two numbers. However, the max is actually 21.5 to 43.0. So you can tell I'm not doing the most amount of damage I can with this weapon. Also, range is not maxed out. Hit ability and critical hit ability is also not maxed out. It's actually a fraction of the max.
Now, to make things slightly more confusing, you will get a skill increase bonus if you do not have the weapon maxed out. So
on some weapons.
And skill increase bonus weapons, yes.
So then there's this other thing. There's skill increase bonus, or SIB, that you'll see on some weapons. They'll be located. You can see under here skill increase bonus, learning period damage, learning period hit. That is, there's a certain period with certain weapons that will allow you to get your skills up a little bit faster. It gives you a skill increase bonus. Is exactly what it sounds like. This weapon does not have a skill increase bonus, but if you check in the description below, we'll have links to a skill increase bonus chart.
Yes, that's a good chart. Okay, and also those charts will also be incredibly helpful for figuring out what the next gun you should shoot is, because this game has tons and tons of different guns, and just fumbling around the auction to figure out which one is the next one is incredibly tedious, time-consuming, and I had to do it before I knew about these charts. And yeah, check out those charts. There'll be a chart for like laser pistol, laser rifle, BLP pistol. And it'll show you which gun you should shoot for which level you are.
So there's going to be two distinct types of weapons, and not necessarily like laser or BLP, but limited and unlimited weapons. Unlimited weapons are repairable, limited weapons are not.
That means if you have a limited weapon, you purchase the weapon, you shoot it until it's done, and then it's trash, or you just get rid of it. Unlimited weapon, you shoot it until it's no longer functioning, and then you put it in a repair terminal and repair it.
Now, the tricky part is with limited weapons, is because you can't just repair them. When they break, you have to go and acquire another one. And probably the main way to do that is through the auction, where you can buy them from other players. And limited guns are often looted from creatures, and sometimes they're crafted by other players. And so one of the downsides to that is that markup is going to be built into the price of the weapon that you have to buy.
And it also will fluctuate because it's all part of this real cash economy.
Exactly.
So, another thing is when you buy a limited weapon, it has a TT value. Then you pay for the TT value plus the markup. When it breaks, it's not at 0 TT.
Every weapon has a minimum value. So when you shoot it to the point where you can't use it anymore, it still has some value, and you can still sell it back to the trade terminal and get, depending on the weapon, sometimes a few ped back. So here's an example of a limited item or a limited gun on the auction and where you're paying your money. So this weapon right here, the TT value is 22.3 ped, but your buyout bid, or even your bid here, buyout bid is like it's like a buy it now if you are familiar with eBay, is you're paying an extra 25% in markup.
You lose all that markup with every limited weapon that you go through.
So a few of the major factors you want to look at when you're looking at a weapon to determine whether it's eco or not, and eco is short for economical, or economically, or economy. Economically.
Beneficial.
Beneficial. You want to look at the weapon's ammo burn, which is how much ammo it consumes per shot. And you also want to look at its durability, or how much it decays with each shot. And there's this great tool out there. I forget the web address, but we'll have it in the description. We'll link it.
It's an entropedia.info. Yeah, we'll put it in there. It'll say weapons compare.
It's a great tool. You can select your weapon. You can put in your stats as it relates to your skill level, and you can basically get a pretty good estimation of how much damage that weapon will do per peck. and PEC stands for Project Entropia Sense.
So that's really, really, really crucial. If you can, you look through each individual weapon and see, how much damage you're going to get per how much, for each pack, you can figure out what's going to be the best bang for your buck.
It's a really good standard to use when you're looking at selecting a weapon to go hunting.
I mean, it's so crucial to do that. I mean, a lot of people just throw in a couple $100 in this game and they just go buy a really good weapon and they run out and kill stuff and they wonder why they lose a bunch of money. Well, it's because they didn't check their damage per peck. It's
that they don't know how much damage they're doing for every peck that they spend.
So they're spending a bunch of money and doing very little damage because their skills are not up to par with the weapon that they purchased.
Yeah, and another reason why it's really, really crucial is that it's really easy to do that, to go out and just buy whatever kind of weapon, shoot whatever kind of mob, and not even notice that you're wasting money.
Oh yeah, they make it easy for that.
Oh yeah, very much so. So there's every weapon has a different amount of ammo consumption, has different durability, and we'd love to go into more detail about that, but it's really just it's a really good idea just to go and use that tool. It'll be a lot more informative just because there's so many different different levels. Some of the ways you can modify your weapon's durability, damage per peck, ammo burn, all that good stuff, how much damage it does, is with weapon attachments. And one of the most common, I think, are amplifiers.
Amplifiers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I got an amplifier here. This is the Omega something 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 something.
Nice.
Basically, the way amplifiers work is you attach it to your weapon, and for a few extra bullets or so, it does extra damage or allows your gun to do extra damage. It also decays, so you have to keep these repaired.
And this weapons compare tool that we're going to link you to, you can also add the amplifier, and it'll do all the math for you.
Yeah, it'll
generally an amplifier will make you even more eco.
Yes, there's a lot of math to it. There's also it's like a minimum amount of damage that an amplifier can add to your weapon. So, for example, if you were to get a really high level amplifier that was adding a ton of extra damage to your weapon, but you had a really low level weapon, it won't add all of its damage to that weapon. So there's a point there where you can't use certain amplifiers with certain guns, become really less economical.
And that's again where the weapons compare tool comes in wonderfully handy.
It's really crucial for eco hunting in Entropia.
I can't imagine playing the game without it. Like I don't know, I can't imagine playing the game without it. That's how I determined, the guns I want to purchase and the amp I want to purchase and all that.
Exactly. And so in addition to amplifiers, there's also a few other weapon attachments. There are enhancers that you can get. Just sort of a quick overview of enhancers. With limited weapons, you shoot the gun, and after a certain amount of time of shooting it, getting some experience with it, you will unlock weapon slots within the gun. You can see here, this gun here has stage 1 and stage 2, or however I forget what they call it, level 1, level 2, I forget. And that allows you to drop enhancers into these slots. Enhancers do different things. They do more damage. I forget the other ones. They enhance your weapon. I stay away from them though because the way that
they're a gamble.
They're a gamble. They don't decay, but they will break at randomly, times.
Completely randomly. So which is a genius for Mind Arc to do because it makes it almost impossible to track damage per peck then because you've got random things breaking that cost
and they can get pretty pricey. And so that's with limited weapons. With unlimited weapons, you can shoot the gun and get experience with it just like you would the limited weapons, but in order to unlock the next enhancer socket, the next level, you have to, I forget, it's been a while, but I think you can get right up to it, and then you have to take another weapon that's identical, and you have to kind of merge them together or something, and then sometimes it doesn't work and you lose the second weapon. So to actually unlock enhancer slots, it's even more of a gamble, especially if you have higher level weapons. And then there's also enhancer skills that you can get to help increase that ability to unlock the slots. And Someone else could probably explain that a little bit better. That's something I kind of stayed away from just because it seems like a big mess, and
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really think that has a whole lot to do with economic hunting.
Yeah, if you want to be eco, you stay far away from all that. So there's a total of 7 armor pieces that you can get to cover your entire body, and 7 pieces make up a complete armor set. And so each set of armor protects for different damage values, pretty much.
And types, different
damage types,
well.
Yes. So as you can see here, this is a piece of Shogun armor. This is the type of armor that I use, and it has protection for penetration, impact, burn, cut, and stab. I forget all the different types of damage that there are, probably like a dozen or so.
Yeah, if you go to entropedia.info, you can look up any creature and see the type of damage they do, and then you can determine which type of armor is best for that.
Exactly. And then you'll see here there's these orange numbers, which means that I have armor plating, or I have an armor attachment that modifies those numbers. And so I have armor plating on all of my pieces of armor, and the armor plating is pretty similar to like a weapon amp. Is that
it amplifies what it does.
Yeah, it's an attachment to your armor that adds more protection for whatever types. And there's different types of armor platings that you can get, and you can kind of mix and match and add them to different types of armors and things like that. And then they also decay, so you have to repair them. Another thing that's really important to think about when you're selecting your armor, or when you're selecting a mob to go hunt, is you don't want to be overprotected. So whenever you get hit, your armor is going to decay the same amount, and the minimum that you can get hit for is 1 damage. So if you're shooting a mob and you're getting hit for 1 damage continually,
you're overprotected. If you're getting hit like 1, you keep getting hit 1, 1, 1, 1. That means you're overprotected, and you're paying for more than you need to be paying for, because, like you said, every time you get hit, you pay the same amount. So you could have super awesome armor and getting attacked by stupid little noob mobs, and you're paying a whole lot, and it's protecting way more than you need to. So yeah, if you're just general rule of thumb, if you're out hunting and you keep getting hit for 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, that means you're overprotected. It means you need to either, hunt a bigger mob or get worse armor, or just pull the armor off altogether if it's like a really noob mob. But yeah, you don't want to just keep getting hit for 1. That's wasting money, and it's not economical, and that's what this video is about, so that's why we're telling you this.
I definitely recommend, for someone who's just starting out, go with pixie armor. You can get that off the auction, or sometimes you can find other players selling a full set of it. And
that's good noob armor. Yeah, do that. Do not get the TT armor. Pixie armor can be got for very cheap on the auction, or just from another player. But the TT armor is crappier than Pixie, and you're gonna spend more.
It looks kind of cool. It's like white and kind of stormtrooper-ish, and it's cheap. Don't get it though. It's not worth it.
Resist the desire to be like a stormtrooper. She just kind of crashed it down here. Where is she?
Because that's how you park it. She's standing right here.
Oh, look at her. She's got Nemesis. That's Nemesis. That orange stuff is Nemesis. This other guy here with the weird looking thing, that's Ghost armor. That's very versatile armor. Good armor.
The thing I find humorous about Ghost armor is that the foot covers, the shoe part of the armor, is really hard to find and really expensive. So everyone who has Ghost armor always has some strange looking armor on their feet.
Yeah, like Shogun there.
Yeah.
You don't match. Oh, our babe left.
So one of the last pieces of equipment that we should touch on for hunting economically is a helibobber.
Yes.
And I call it a helibobber because I don't know what the generic term for these things are.
Because it heals you. Well, see the thing, yeah, they're called like different things. Someone call them a FAP.
This one's a med kit. This one over here is a Vivo
Fast
T1.
Aid PAP, Vivo, Hedoc. There's various things in this game that heal you.
Those things. Those are what we're going to talk about here real quick. Just like everything else, just like the armor, just like the weapons, there is a vast array of them. They heal for different amounts. They require different skill levels for certain items. They decay at different amounts, different rates.
Again, just like with the weapons, if you're using something that's over the top for your skill set, you're going to be wasting money. So just make sure you're not wasting money. You can open up an info thing and show them that. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
It'll kind of...
It's pretty much like the same as everything else. You can see
The uses per minute and heal interval max is the same thing as damage type of thing.
Right there. They all decay at different amounts, so there are some that you probably want to pay more attention to, especially depending on your skill level. I like the Vivo T1 from the just the trade terminal.
Just because he's a noob.
That's well, the reason I like this is because it's one of, or at least, especially for the price, it's the most economical to use.
It is true. It's pretty economical.
And sort of my philosophy is that if I'm hunting something that requires something that heals me more than this, then I shouldn't be hunting it.
Yeah, like so a lot of people will get something like the one he's referring to. I think it what does it give you 9?
It's a 7.7 to 10.3 is the range.
Yeah, so it's like 10, 9.
Yeah.
You can get stuff that gives you like 75 or 65 HP a click or more, or 100, and they cost a lot of money. But so yeah, a lot of people will get those and then just hunt something really big and just pay out the butt to heal themselves. And hey, that's fun, but sometimes
this is about being economic here.
This is about the economics.
That's right. The last thing we want to talk about is what to do with the loot after you're done hunting. So your first reaction is probably going to be to take all your loot and go over to the trade terminal and get you some instant money, some fast cash. That's probably, although it's not a bad idea to TT some stuff, you want to make sure that what you're selling at the trade terminal is not worth a bang ton of money. It can
exactly.
So everything, if you haven't figured it out so far, everything has a trade terminal value, but then everything also has markup, and the markup fluctuates due to economic economy variables
conditions
and things, kind of like real life. Actually, just exactly like real life.
Because it's a real cash economy.
So you can loot something that may not look like it's worth all that much money at first, until you look at the markup of that item. And you want to be really careful. You don't want to sell it to a trade terminal if the markup is worth a lot of money. So just like when you buy weapons from the auction or buy anything from the auction, it's going to have markup. You want to make sure what you're selling, when you're selling your loot, you want to make sure what you're selling, you want to make sure you're selling it at the appropriate place. So if it's something with a high amount of markup, you want to sell it at the auction or to another player. If it's something with almost no markup and you have not that much money worth of it. For example, here I have 22 animal eye oil. Markup here is almost non-existent. I don't have many of it. I only have 1 ped worth of it. So this is something.
TT that crap.
This is something I would not put on the auction because there are auction fees you have to consider, and I would be wasting money. So this is something I would definitely want to sell at a trade terminal.
Another option. Is to find someone that's buying it, like find a reseller. Sometimes, like if you really, really, really trying to save money, instead of TTing and instead of auctioning, you can find someone like especially at like Twin Peaks and stuff. People will stand there and buy things, and they'll say like, I'm buying animal eye oil at 101%. You can save a little bit of money to sell to someone like that, because what they'll do is they'll buy small portions that wouldn't be worth it for the people to auction. They'll buy a bunch of smaller portions and then they then auction it all. So that's one way you can save a little bit of money, is sell it to a reseller. So
I think that covers just about everything as far as being economic in this game. If you have any questions or if you'd like us to clarify anything, leave a comment. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know if there's any other like videos you'd like us to do. That would be cool too.